Beautiful people, I'm going to give you in this video some tips on body blocking. I'm going to give you some tips on how to get a flashlight save more appropriately, how to maybe even hit a better dead hard in the future. It's going to be a lot of random clips. If you get any sort of knowledge from it, if you want to see things like this in the future, please do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out so much. And if you ever want to see this live, come to the Twitch channel, at twitch.tv/Adonasaurus. Let's get into it. All right, so for this first clip, I just want to say this much. I just finished doing a gen. It's the reason why I'm hovering in this clip. So I just finished doing a gen. I see someone possibly might go down, so I stick around. Keep in mind right now, I think the most common mistake I see is that people overzealously run out into the open and completely ruin any chance that they have for possibly getting a flashlight save. Especially if this survivor's at a pallet, you even have the potential to maybe get a pallet save. Don't run out too early. Don't move too quickly. Even if you have to wait an extra second, just do that, because you might ruin the entire opportunity, and all that time you just spend wasting standing there is for no apparent reason, right? I have a teammate on a gen. I myself am like almost perfectly in a position to get either kind of save. So we get it. And we even try to stay here, I think, a little bit longer, double blind him again. And I'm hoping that he hears me, which he does, and he chases me now. Now you're going to see me try to save this pallet for as long as possible. Kind of run into the wall a little bit there. Happens. Trying to loop this as tightly as possible. Now, right there, we just dodge him. Right here is where you kind of want to wait. So if he pushes you this way, then you run all the way around back to this pallet. If he jumps down the staircase, you want to be careful. If he jumps down the staircase, then you just run right back to this. And you don't drop immediately either. You keep trying to loop it, especially if the spacing that you have makes sense. Keep looping for as long as you humanly possibly can. Right? So we're still looping. We fake it. So we stood still here for half a second. Sometimes you can do the slow down, right? Some people do the walk, like, okay, I'm about to drop it. Just kidding. And then they keep running. You can completely stop. That'll startle them a lot. Here I decided to stop, and then I kept running straight. Keep in mind here. So this is something you can utilize a lot in your chases. A lot of times, if you ever do this, right? If you're about to get hit, the best thing I can do is continuously running a straight line. Had I cut this way, right, towards the right, well, rather the left, but I'm thinking Laura's right. Excuse me. I know my left's from my right. But if I would have cut right immediately, he probably could have extended it closely right here. You'll see me extend this sort of this around a pallet another time in the future as well. And it's sometimes just doing something as small as this, extending outward, is going to help. I will say now I'm kind of out in the open, and I end up going for an FOV tech. FOV techs are best utilized around corners. See this corner? He's looking this way. So he only has but so much line of sight, right? He might not have me in his sights yet because he wasn't turned completely this way. So then I throw myself right in front of him, and somehow I get away by the grace of God, right? Just dodge his thing, go around one more time. I think we've done it enough times. I think about 25 seconds is when you start to get bloodlust. So now in my mind, I'm thinking, I want to drop this already. I've greeted this more times than I can remember in just a few seconds here, right? So heads up. Now we hit it. All right, next clip. Here we go. So honestly, I just get hit. He was pretty close. Sometimes DBD's a little wonky with the hits. I have windows of opportunity, which, by the way, people will tell you it's a bad perk. You shouldn't use it. I have 5,000 hours. I don't really use it anymore. Sometimes I'll throw it on, especially if I'm just trying to show people certain things. Like, this isn't my typical build at the moment, but still, really, really good perk. And it shows you not only where the pallets are, obviously, but it'll also show you where the pallets are not. So I know if I leave that loop and I just look forward, if I don't see anything else highlighted where it's close enough that I can run to, I'll stay exactly where I am. That's the beauty. I think people don't think about that enough with windows of opportunity. If you're in the middle of getting chased and let's say like he just did to me, right? He hit me. And when he hit me, I can see that there's a pallet right there. So I can bypass this one and at the very least waste that time to get to this pallet. Does that make sense? Utilize that. It's always should be, okay, I just got hit. Where am I going to go next? That is so freaking important. And a lot of times people don't do that. They'll stay there and instead make a dead zone completely in that corner when they didn't have to do that just yet. So I come here. Another thing you'll see me do a lot here is walk or stand still. I think there's a lot of times, you see this? Stop. I'm trying to keep him in my line of sight, right? You could even follow my mouse a little bit, like he's right here, he's right here. All right. I know he has his power out because you can hear it. You guys can hear it that well now. Running, 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 running. He throws out his power again. And right here, I see an opportunity for me to break away again. So because he put himself in such a terrible position where he couldn't see me from either side, I had just checked right before turning away. You can see that I had just checked. Oh, did he commit to either side? Nope, I'm out of there. I think it's right here. So he looks left. On the right, he's still not there. Left, he's not there. Right, he's not there. We're gone. We're gone. Now, the only unfortunate piece is that this little gremlin, he left his little buddy back here, which I didn't notice until it was a little bit too late. But if you're paying attention, you can see that. I make a big mistake here. You'll see it in a second. I have this. I typically would vault this window, but because he has his buddy in the back, I didn't. All right. So we come over here. We fake it, right? That was another hesitation move that you can do. Sometimes I'll just fake it like that. I faked. This was the mistake. This is never a good place to be on any loop. You never want to be away from everything, all the resources. My resources over here and over here. I'm just making it 10 times harder for myself to get to anything. It's just one of those instinctual things. I kind of just broke away like a moron. Shouldn't have done it. Very stupid move. And now we see where he is. We kind of got lucky here. We know this is here. He hasn't teleported to it yet. He did here, and this is where I make the mistake. I'm thinking that wall, I had way more distance than I did, but look, it's literally here. I thought this wall extended a little bit more. Poor planning by me. Let's look at the next chase. Hopefully that makes sense to you already, though, right? Then there's this little tidbit here, right? This vaulting in move, I feel like a lot of people utilize it all the time, and I want you guys to use it as well. It is such a good move. So right here, we see that he's coming, and instead of utilizing this pallet immediately, we vault this, or rather, sorry, that pallet is not there because somebody else used it. I'm sorry, we're jumped super fast into this. So what's really good about super far into the chase, so because it's all over the place. So what I love about this move right here, though, is it gives me a little bit more of an opportunity. What is he not going to do now? He's not going to throw out, even if he just walks straight and is still able to follow me, which he does. He doesn't pull out his power immediately, allowing me to get behind barrier to barrier to barrier. You know, a lot of times, like right here, you see me run behind this as soon as he shot that, so I can use that as a defense pretty much, right? So I keep using all that to blockade. There's nothing over there, by the way. You see this? There's nothing here, and I'm realizing that. So I'm like, okay, I got to get out of there. I'm not even going to really use that loop. The only viable way to use this loop, the only really good way to use this loop, so right here, I'm noticing, crap, there's nothing here. The only way to use it is to get a nice fast vault on this right here, this window. So it would be typically going up through here and then cutting left. But the odds are he'll come up through here and cut me off. I'll give him a free hit and I'll be in no man's land. Maybe then I'll vault this window, run that direction, but it's a waste. So instead of that, instead of just wasting my time even doing any of that, I dodge his power one more time. There's only 2 of us left, by the way. Two people left, right? So we get here. All right, so now we're going to go through check spots, right? He swung through that. Guess what? I have a window right here. This is one of the best 4 lanes you could possibly get. And I hope for those of you who don't know how to run a 4 lane, you watch me here, right? So look at this. So we have a pallet here, window here. Let's pay attention. He's following. I'm just going to run through it. Once he swings through that, I am now taking this window, and the first thing I'm doing is rotating my camera. If I don't see him come through this section within the first few minutes, excuse me, what the hell am I talking about? If I don't see him come through that section within seconds, I'm going to assume he's on the right-hand side. But because I saw him, if he didn't come through there within 1 Mississippi 2, I would have been walking this way, right? So we see he went that way. We heard him just pull out his power, and you'll see me a lot of times walk into him, right? So I was assuming he's going to try to shoot it off this wall behind me over here towards the left. He didn't. I was going to run into him to try to get far away from that power as I could. All right, so we know where he went last. This is always a game of, if your camera work is trash, you're going to die, right? But this is a game of now, keep your camera on the demon. He leaves me here for like a couple of seconds, right? And then he comes right back. He teleported to something behind me. And now we do the same thing we did before. This is our favorite spot to wait right here. I decide to stay here. You see this check spot? Right here on either side, left or right of this, I can see this side and I can see this side. So I can fake going this way. I can fake this way. Whenever you see that right there, you see this? When the killer gives you his back like that, it is almost guaranteed he's going to moonwalk that and actually come in the direction that he's not facing, if that makes sense. So because he's showing us his back, he's going to go that way. Guess where I'm going? If you've been paying attention, you would know. Back to the window again we go, right? We turn our camera around, make sure we keep an eye on him. We're waiting for him to cross. I waited a little bit too long for sure. For sure I did there. I hesitated way too long. He's been double backing a lot, and I think that's been throwing me off. Saw his red light over here. Looks like he committed to the right. So we come back this way. But let's go back on that again. That's my mess up big time right there. Right? We saw his aura because I have object of obsession. I totally forgot. He fakes that way. We're trying to get vision through all of this here. We saw his red stain and then it went away. So we keep going here. He's following. We lost him. And I'll be honest, when I lost him right here, I don't know if he went left or right. I'm going this way now. Unfortunately, this little bitch stands up right there. But my goal is just to make some distance. I'm trying to not get hit by that. Unfortunately, now I'm out in the open. I kind of lost him for a second. And I was like, oh, I want to punch the monitor right now just seeing that damn swing. Okay, we make it out of that. All right, the best way to run Shaq, which I'm not going to run Shaq at the moment. I would love to stay here as long as I can. I'm thinking he went in. He actually called my bluff. I actually ended up coming back this way. Smart man. And sometimes that's just going to happen. So now we loop this as best as we can. Said as tightly as we can. That's it. Perfect stun on us right here. He breaks that. Now, immediately, you might think, yeah, vault the window, but don't vault the window immediately. Why wouldn't you vault the window? Because you only get 3 vaults. And if you maximize this chase as much as you can, if I go through there and vault immediately, there's no difference of time, really. If I come straight over here or vault this window, I'm going to get to the same point and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to wait. Right? So save this vault for when you can. So I'm looking at over here. I'm looking through the door and on the left side here. Once I saw him on the right side, I am now moving. But as I move, I look through here. Right? I look through there. Okay, he's not coming through the door. I can somewhat commit this way. If I continuously came this way and he didn't show up over here, I would have went right back towards that direction. And now at any given point, yes, there's so many things that can go wrong. Like the killer can just stand on the other side of this wall and kind of like hide his light, turn around and chase you. But whatever, we kind of run past this. Remember, what I want to do is, as best as I can, if I can, is hit a fast vault on this window. He's too close to me at this point, and now he has a demon out here. We try to fake it. I was hoping it's going to go out the window. It didn't. I'm dropping this. Sometimes it doesn't all go towards, according to plan. So now I'm running out in the open. He's running towards me. I hit a dead hard, and my man misses. Oh, sir. I'm pissed. I'm pissed just watching this right now. I'll be honest. So I go through here. I know he thinks that I'm going to go up through the pallet, right? Sometimes you have to play against your own mind. It makes all the sense in the world that I would go for the pallet. When you're injured is sometimes the best time to greed, even on death hook, how I am now. It's sometimes the best time to greed because that's when the killer doesn't expect you to greed. You know, like it almost just doesn't make sense. Like, what, you psychopath? Right? So we spin here, we do this. If I run a straight line, I'm getting hit by his power. So I don't. I come through here. I turn my camera with just enough time. I lose the power and he hits me with it again. A millisecond before and I would have been cooked. I'm looking. All right, here's another time where time is a factor. Right here. First of all, you can see his red stain through here. I'll walk a little bit this way, but the moment I don't see him pass, I'm like, wait, he should have been here by now. We turn around and guess what? He's there. Very oftentimes, that's what happens. Again, the killer could also double, triple moonwalk this bad boy 100 times, and you're going to have to, you know, do an audible at that moment. But this is what I did at that time, right? So remember, we still have this palette. But the way that you always want to run this, the same way you would run this almost with maybe like Trickster, with Huntress, etc., with a lot of certain killers, is you don't want to run straight lines over and over and over, right? So I don't want to go from here to that side of the pallet to come down to go this way, because then once he gets to any corner, he can just shoot down his power. So you want to break that line of sight as quickly as possible. So in your mind, you have to ask yourself, how can I break line of sight the best without him maybe getting value off his power? He already has his power out. Do you see? And look at what direction he was just looking. Look at what direction he was looking at. You see it? He's looking over there because he's thinking I'm going straight for the pallet. So now we stay over here, right? Object of obsession. We get to see him. He also gets to see us. We kind of break away here. That thing freaking turns on, unfortunately. And now we have this. I'm trying to get the power off. He turned into this. He hits my teammate and we both make it out. A lot of times in this game, it's dependent on perks. It depends on the killer, their decision, your decision, etc. But there are a lot of times that you can get out of these things. You just kind of have to finesse it a little bit. Let's go to the next one. This is double dead hard. So this is actually seemed to me to be a pretty decent killer. Right now we have Kindred going on and I'm looping right by the hook. You should never really do that. I couldn't really get anywhere else, right? So I'm looping right by the hook. I can see her beautifully right now, right? Sometimes I will vault this window. Sometimes I don't. It depends. Here, I've already told myself, I'm just going to greed this. Let me just show you going straight to the dead hard, what we do here.
We run it.
I've already been hooked once.
Perfect dead hard, you say? Perfect dead hard, perfect dead hard, perfect dead hard. Yeah!
So here, I think it's very simple. I think most people could hit this. This is not the hardest thing in the world. She waited to the last possible moment to swing at me, which makes all the sense in the world. If she swings at me from very, very distant, from like very, very far, it's going to be that much easier for me to hit my dead hard. So she waited until I almost couldn't, you know? So we greed this here.
We run it.
Sometimes you greed and you don't know when is the best time. Sometimes when you're injured like this can be the best time to do it, especially if you have something like dead hard. If I didn't have dead hard, would I have done it still? Possibly. So right here, I'm not waiting for her to swing at me. In my mind, I'm saying I'm going to do it at the pallet. Now, I'm going to show you another clip right after this where we also hit her with dead hard again. So we're looking at both sides here. Once we get pushed, I should have ran this direction, but I didn't notice that she actually full on heard me and was going to commit to me. So right here, I'm kind of standing and looking at both. I see red here. She stopped. I see red here. It happened so quickly. Now, I know that she knows that I have dead hard. She knows. She knows that I have dead hard, right? And so I'm going to wait as long as humanly possible to hit that dead hard. With typically in my mind, I think about it in 1, 2, and 3. It almost never happens on the second one, but it can very oftentimes happen on, rather, it doesn't ever happen on the first one, but it can happen on the second and third one. So here, this is what we did.
Oh my God! am I?
So right here, that's our initial fake right there, our secondary fake. And a lot of times you have to remember is they lose line of sight on you very, very easily. And when they lose line of sight on you, excuse me, it's so easy for them to think, oh man, especially with Plague even, right? Because you have to also remember you have specific animations where sometimes you can't even see that the survivor is coughing, throwing up, etc. So because she couldn't see, because she didn't notice, maybe I got out of her line of sight for half a second. She doesn't even know if I threw it out already. So right here, we go in the third time and throw it out. Sometimes it's not the third. Sometimes it's the fourth, fifth, sixth. Sometimes the killer will literally not swing until you do it. But these are things for you to remember as you continue playing so that you don't throw it out immediately the first time around. You could do it at pallets. It's also really good when you do it at windows. Those are really good times to do it as well. But just keep that in mind. This clip right here is of me messing up horribly. This demo was pretty solid. And we literally loop here twice. So the first time around, there's nothing wrong with this. A little bit of a greed. I think that's very normal. Right here, this guy's response time was so quick. He was so quick and I just wasn't expecting it. And at this point, I'm kind of just stuck, right? So he catches me there. I'm like, all right, damn. All right, what do I do now? What's my best option? By the way, he does that move a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean every single time. So what he does is he'll fake this way, forcing you to come back, which is a very common killer move. Fakes this way, forces you to walk back so that you have to pretty much come this way. Because if you call his bluff and you actually end up walking over there, and also he can hear you. So if you run that way, he might end up just chasing you. But it is that is beyond a 50-50. I just wouldn't ever typically take. And if done correctly, you can still make it out of this situation. Blunder and a half. I don't know if you notice what the blunder is, but it's pretty darn obvious. So right here, what you never want to do with certain killers, remember we just spoke about it, never give perfect line of sight. I ran the straightest line to that pallet without giving him any reason to second guess what he's going to do. Now we're literally back at the same pallet once again.
I think he knows,
right? And this man, look, he played it beautifully. He just, I should have ran up and around. I messed up again. I could have played that a little bit better myself, but let's watch what we do. So instead this time, we actually run up this way, watch him with our camera, turn our camera, look at him still this way. So now he couldn't just freely do the shred the way that he wanted to. We do it this way instead.
The greed is absurd.
Right? And again, we still greeted because sometimes greeting is absolutely important. Look, we are still greeting even at this stage of the game, right? We stay here. We can see both sides pretty well. We take the back window. And again, now I would say, utilize this as best as we could for the time being. Now we get back, we run it the exact same way again. Had he differed where he ran to, I might have taken the window instead. So let's say he would have cut me off through here instead. I would have probably cut back to the right and taken that window. We take that. And here's another perfect example of a perfect dead hard. Just right at the pallet. And if you ever want to figure out how to do this, I think it's very simple. You have to get, especially from my mouse and keyboard gamers, it's very, very simple. What you have to do is, all right, this is what you do. You see exactly where you're running to, right? So it's right here. And then when you just flip your camera completely the other way and make sure, right? This patch was like right in front of where I needed to be. This patch of grass. So sometimes just recognize landmarks or things in the area so that when you flip your camera, you know you're still going in the right area, right? So I see this and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to flip my camera, but I got to make sure I walk over this blade of grass here. As long as I do that, perfect, right? I'm exactly where I need to be. I could turn that camera safely and know I'm not going to bump into a wall. mistakes will still happen. You will still bump into walls. But that is a perfect way. We didn't have to use our decisive strike, which was active. He came right back to the hook for me. We didn't have to use our decisive strike. We were able to utilize that loop way better this time around than we did the other time. And if I didn't have dead hard, by the way, let's say in that same scenario, if you don't have dead hard, you do the same thing you would do in any other situation. You, instead of running this way, you run to his right, our left. You run this way so that you get the blocker of this. So the line of sight blocker here. And then you would just play this loop as best as you can. This is a really, I think that loop is more often than not better for a killer than it is for a survivor. But yeah, and that's this clip. Next clip. Okay, first and foremost, this is just something you should always consider. If you ever get caught out, you see how far I went like a psychopath. I was the first person he found in the match. The match started like 10 seconds ago. First thing I did, blind him as he's coming through the window. Right? I blind him, and that allows me to get away. Had I not have a flash, if I didn't have a flashlight though, I get hit for free. I would have to try to spin him, etc. So many other things would have to happen, right? Just know this too, guys. DBD is all about mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. I have 5,000 plus hours, and I make mistakes on the regular. Just know you're gonna mess up, and you know when you do, try to learn as best as you can from it. All right. So he just smacked the crap out of the bot. Now he's chasing me. I have DS, right? And I have an opportunity to either use DS or not use DS. And it's always a case by case basis, if I'm honest. I think if I have the opportunity to loop him, it's already 45 seconds in as well. I don't want to use it here. I don't. I'd rather just loop normally unless I absolutely have to and go from there. You'll see a couple of check spots, best places to stand. I make a few mistakes, of course, because it happens. He's a little crazy. So this is a halfway decent place to stand. If he comes from here, you can see him at a pretty early time. And from here as well, you can see him where you can still make enough time around. Right? Here, I stuttered way too long, but overall, still made it happen. So remember what I told you guys earlier about when you have to just walk straight in order to not get hit. This is one of those moments, right? Instead of me curving this way, I walk straight before curving back in so that he wouldn't hit me. Because the last thing I want is, you know, to possibly get hit just because I cut out. So whenever you see them in animation swinging, extend yourself forward instead of curving. And I promise you, there are so many hits that won't touch you because of that. So we make it away. Remember, sometimes if necessary, this guy was crazy as hell, I'll be honest. We see him there. We have a good check spot on both sides. So if he comes through here, we got him. If he comes through the other side, we got him too. We can still, I think something that you have to remember when you are greeting as much as I am greeting is spacing. I'm looking at, okay, if this chase continues, can I still get around, right? Can I still get back to the pallet if I need to from the position that I am at the moment? Yes, right? Right here, because he's doing all that nonsense, and that was ridiculous. I can tell that I still have the spacing to make it. Look how far he is. I can make it around another time. I don't have to think about it, right? And then I think here officially we drop it. Now at this point, there is so many things to consider, such as, the only thing to consider really is, well, there's two things. You have to consider that he knows you're going to greed the bejesus out of this, so you got to play carefully at one point or another, right? We greeted this like 4 or 5 times. And then secondly, there is bloodlust. He gets faster, 5% faster every so on seconds, right? So keep that in mind as well. So finally, I dropped it. Here's something else that happens a lot. Killers will pretend like they're going to break. Do not fall for it. Wait until you see the animation. It's not going to be perfect. Look, he really wants me to stay back here. He's trying to push me. It's kind of similar to what we just saw with the window. He tries to push me in this direction. Look how far I am now, right? So if I don't have anything close, I'm dead. Thankfully, I have something right here. So he tries to push me further into the back of the map before we go. A lot of times when you see this, what happens so often is that they'll fake. This is such a tiny ass loop. They'll fake one way and come back and swing. Right? And when you see that, sometimes the best thing, this is why I love having a flashlight. That flashlight, a lot of times what it does, it forces them to break the pallet. He has to break that pallet in order to proceed. Otherwise, if I just stunned him, he might have just walked around it. So a pallet like that is a pallet that you need a stun on. And if you have a flashlight, it gets you so much distance. So really good to utilize too. Right here, for those of you who might want to only use the same perks over and over and over, I implore you to try other things. I think I might have Object of Obsession as well as, I think these are all aura perks. I think, yeah, it's Kindred, Object, I think, Troubleshooter, and then I forget what the hell the last one is. But it might be the Screaming perk. I forgot what it's called. But right here, Troubleshooter, you will see how it gets me out of danger. Kind of. I kind of had to do something else too, right? I would almost never recommend dropping this early. I would almost never recommend dropping that early. Sometimes I won't drop. I mean, you'll see it. I'll greed like crazy, and sometimes I'll drop immediately depending on the situation. And this is such a terrible ass loop. You know, we get very lucky here with the spin. Now, Troubleshooter is showing me exactly where he is, so I know where I can. He loses me because of my scratch marks, and I make it out of there. Granted, yes, it was the 360, but also Troubleshooter gave me all that value. Right here, he's too close to me for me to try to greed in any which direction. It's just not going to happen. He's also at tier 3. Why the hell would I greed this? We're at 4 gens. 2 people already went down. Listen, drop them if you need to drop them. Also, you know, loop them when you can, you know, when you have that distance, when it makes sense. But just pay attention. Try using other perks. All right. This right here is about body blocking and how amazingly my team did. And yeah, let's show you guys. So right now I have, oh my God, what is the name of it? Rancor. I am Rancored, and you see how much that gen has? It's pretty much done. I'm shitting my pants here. I know it's about to be over for me. I don't have adrenaline. Not that would have helped me at all. At best with maybe a little speed boost. But my teammates here literally save me like it's nobody's business. We drop because we have no choice. Ace had adrenaline. All right. So here's 2 things. When you're body blocking or when you're getting body blocked, it is a 2-way street. It's not only on the person that's body blocking, but the person that's getting body blocked for. I have to facilitate like good avenues where my team can in fact protect me. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, I'm not running out into the open, and you'll continuously see it here. Already great body blocking by him, but it gets even better. Let me show you.
Ace, I ain't gonna lie, I haven't seen you in like 10 years, bro. I'm glad you're finally playing again.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'll be honest, she also wasn't using her phase.
Oh my God. She just spun the block. Please go that way. Thank you. Okay. Okay. We got to make it upstairs.
Okay. Right here, Ace comes back. And one thing immediately that I want to point out that I feel like not enough people do, something so small yet so huge. You always give the person that is being protected the inside of the loop. You see here, I'm not going to run around Ace. Ace is going to run around me. He's going to give me the easiest position to get to where I need to get to. Me going around him doesn't make any sense. If you're ever body blocking for someone and they're looping, allow them to loop the inside, and you, if they're looping the inside, you jump around them. It is so important, and it's going to save their life. And if you play it any other way, you're going to kill them. So now I have both survivors. So keep in mind what I said before, right? I have to facilitate an easy body blocking experience. See how well they're so I'm looking back at her to see where she is, and I'm making sure that I'm giving them a position where they can actually block, where it's not difficult. I'm not running out into the open. Now I will completely break away because I have I have distance. She kind of lost me for a little bit.
Say less. Say less.
This is crazy, by the way.
Oh, fuck.
Insanity.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So if you're body blocking, please allow for your teammates to run the most efficient way. That's the best way that I could put it, while you run around them. Don't make them run around you and take the longer pathing to the pallet, to safety in general. Walk around them. These two did it beautifully. I think this was also Survive with viewers. So these are actually viewers from my stream. They did a 10 out of 10. Amazing. Let's go to the next one. Oh, wait. This is the last one. Okay, that was it. I hope you guys liked it. I know this was a pretty lengthy video. I'm gonna try to cut it up as much as I can. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, breaking things down, let me know. Let me know what else you want to see. Killer specific, more of a certain something that you really like from this video. And thank you guys for all the love. I can't believe it, by the way. We made it to 20,000 subscribers. Subscribers, man. Thank you so much. I love you guys. And also this upcoming weekend, this upcoming weekend, we're actually doing a subathon on Twitch. So I'll be live for possibly over 24 hours. If you want to show some love, either this Saturday, August, whatever the heck it is right now. Love you guys. Peace.